wholly unjustified and brutal invasion of Iraq. I mean, of Ukraine.
Wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over war.
We returned. Wow, this is number 17, right?
17.
Almost of age. Good enough for
Almost.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah. I actually appreciate that because, Drake was right there, right? But
no, hey, listen.
That.
Yeah, no. I know my place. I'm tearing down on the white men, okay? That's what I do.
It's been a week.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Man.
Hell world. It's hot.
It's crazy, man. It is. I've been thinking a lot of this week about some real hell world things. Obviously we're talking about some of them. Man, it has been a week.
Yeah,
it has been a week.
Yeah. Wow. So, well, how have you been though?
Been good.
Past week, good.
Painting. Yeah. Getting a new home ready for my living or whatever. I don't know. My habitating.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna, and this is where for me, where summertime is starting to come out, right? Like a little bit of spring cleaning, which I'm not taking a day, but I am really kind of like, going through the closet, little by little. What do you want to get rid of?
Yeah, that's a good feel.
And right where I went on a little bit of a shopping spree, if you will.
Yeah.
Hitting up the big name stores. The Marshalls. I stopped
Rainbow.
into TJ Maxx. I know.
Yeah.
I just wanted to take a look. I just wanted to see if they.
I know the life. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But you get some, some new shirt here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no. It's I don't know. I guess like where it's like I'm just springtime, summer, refresh.
I'm right
ready
there
to
with
get
you,
out into the world and maybe travel around sometime.
We were just talking about that. There's a bunch of, DNC, all sorts of things on the horizon to wander around, travel to.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
A lot of things.
Yeah, if you can find some not on fire grass to touch.
Yeah.
Still nice.
Pretty cool. I was out hiking this weekend.
Nice.
It was beautiful outside. Nice, 60 degrees in the woods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am Lucid Fox on all the socials and on Twitch. Make a show Monday through Friday for news type things, and
And I'm Marcus from Left Lane Vets. You can only find me on Twitch. .tv
very speakeasy style thing going on.
Well, and that's where coming from being a poster, you gotta just I've really it's like I've reformed. I'm a reformed poster.
Hey, I say the socials just because, but I know I looked at my Twitter. I think the last time I used it was 2 weeks ago. I've fallen off of the posting days.
The thing that, and honestly, this is, I really do feel like this is an unfortunate thing. It's not wrong, right? It just kind of happens to be a little unfortunate.
Yeah.
So the fact that Twitter is still the only social media site where journalists and news, people all post things.
It's a scourge.
It makes it kind of a trap, right? And so this is where it's like with Blue Sky, though. Blue Sky,
I already know where you're going. Yeah.
Is that when there, you know, some media personalities will try and like touch blue sky.
Yeah.
And you know, hey, that's how that oven is hot.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Watch your fingers.
Watch your fingers, okay?
Yeah, it's man, I just, and the thing is, like, the usability of Blue Sky is not there, man. I wish it was. And I know people come up to me, they're the same people that fucking, you know, tried to cape for Mastodon years ago, and they're like, no, well, the thing you don't understand is if you use block lists, and no, I still don't have video, I still don't have, I'm sorry, but like there's just so many things that are necessary in like the telling, like specifically for, you know, what I do for a living, but also like in general, like these are things that I think are very necessary to a social media platform, and them just kind of not being around right now, you know, the way that the rollout was handled for Blue Sky, like all these things just have kind of made it a less desirable. So now, and maybe that changes in the future. I don't know. Like, I don't know what took other social media sites years to get off the ground. Who knows?
You're gonna have to get a video player that actually works. And, and this is where too, it's like, dear websites, make a video player that works.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I feel like we went a long
Even Elon
time.
doesn't have one of those, really, you know?
I feel like YouTube is losing a key element of what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. That's where I only use it because that's where that's where like new, you know, breaking news can be seen. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, twitch.tv/left flank vets if you want to see more of me every day, 8 days a week. See spamming the Mormon. All right.
Yeah. And speaking of tech,
long intro. Nice slow and long intro.
Speaking of tech, Marcus, sure would like to get one of these new BYD electric vehicles from China.
Yeah.
They look great.
No, which I am not a big fan of, like, driving in general.
No, same. You know, but I was told to reduce our carbon footprint and move forward into the future to renewable. We need to tap all resources. We gotta start all using electric vehicles, and then
And there's one thing I expect.
Yeah.
As an American.
Yeah.
Plenty of choice.
Free market, baby. That's what I'm told. Yeah.
No restrictions on choice.
None at all. Could you
want
imagine?
a lot of brands.
Yeah.
I want a lot of commercials, and I want even more brands.
Yeah. I'm not a Ford guy, you know. I got the little guy peeing on the Ford on my current car.
That's
so,
right.
Know,
it's truck month.
Yeah. Yeah. So why can't I get a BYD at less than 100% tariff?
Brandon, 300%.
It's crazy, man. Like to really sit down and think about this specific. There's so many other things that happen within Biden's administration where you can be like, these are the consequences of like neoliberalism, capitalism, etc. But this is like just a defining, like this shows you the like laid bare the exact nature of a neoliberal administration and its, you know, its drawbacks, you know, just in general. Like this shows you how, when it comes down to it, we will always trend back towards like protectionism, right? Like we will always go back towards, hey, you're getting too far into our free market, except.
Well, and this is and the thing is too, where I think it's a way of clarity, right? Where like you're saying, where especially since it is like Joe Biden and one of like a main contributor to the NAFTA legislation.
Yes.
And now, right, you have this seemingly, right, I would say seemingly reversal, but these things are still very much in line. These are protectionist policies for American industry.
Yes. Yeah.
NAFTA and
let's be very specific for Tesla in general. Yeah. Like there's other, you know, American car companies with electric on the horizon, but nothing with the install base of Tesla.
Because this is where, like, American industry, I think, is just been sniffing its own farts for far too long.
Yeah,
right.
I've spoken about this many times. Yeah,
it sits on the back of the United States empire, right, and of these like free trade agreements that will be forced upon other nations, regions, what have you. Like the thing is though. No one wants to buy any of our stuff.
Yes.
We don't make really dope shit like that, and other than F-35s.
Or we don't have factories to scale to allow for, that kind of factories to scale, and also cheap labor to really allow for that kind of like pricing structure, right?
The mechanisms of our industry are do not match up with the population and resources, or at least the resource extraction that we have in this country.
Yeah,
it doesn't line up to be actually deliver a marketable service and or good.
Yes,
because this is where like this idea of competing with 1.3 billion people in a enormous landmass with an enormous amount of resources, with a government that has the most extensive logistical and market network.
Yeah.
Right? China is the number one country of number one trading partner of countries.
Yeah. I know
you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
Right? They're kicking our ass. Of course they would.
Yeah.
Because this is where it's like the American brain needs to understand you can't beat a billion people. Like we can't.
And we set them up like this is the logical outcome of how we, as a consumer like country, set China up. Right? Like you go back to the 80s and you start talking about the planning of external labor on the part of the United States, but like this is how neoliberalism was born, right? Like we start shipping off all these externalities of industry to different countries, and we say, hey, you're going to make like this, you're going to make that, we're going to ship it around the world, we're going to and eventually it'll come back to us, and then we like put it together, and we are going to have a cheaper product as a result of that, even if it's at the cost of climate change, if it's at the cost of child labor, worse outcomes for workers in those countries, etc. And so we've been doing that for 40 years now, and out of that, China has become exceedingly better at having these like company towns, having these like areas where they create X or Y or Z, and out of that now they are getting their own consumer class, right? Out of the past 10 years or so, that desires just as much as we do, but they have the benefit of just kind of having all this apparatus already. They're not shipping anywhere, they can just deliver within, right? And so you get something like BYD that exists, where this car, an entry-level electric sedan costing like $20,000. Yeah. Which, you match that up against the Tesla, and that's, scores of difference, right? And it's a better vehicle than a Tesla.
Where you get to the manufacturing of it, right? Where the only reason literally the only reason most American car companies have advanced is because trade deals have forced Japanese car companies to enter the U.S. market through having their manufacturing base here in the United States. Yeah. And then those types of things competing with these decaying, right? Because when you think of Ford and GM, Chrysler, the big car companies, and they literally had to be saved. Yeah. Right. And absolutely. Because they had to be propped up from, the U.S. government. Right. And the thing is too, it's where, as a free market capitalist, that sounds like we should have stake ownership in some car manufacturing companies. One would think. But hey, who am I to just use the rules? But at the end of the day, it's like kind of like a multitude of things where our manufacturer, and then like to say too, of where this is where Germany, their cars compete not off of making a mass scale, but off of luxury.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right.
That's
and this is where it's like
the brands have been,
yeah. Where like what luxury car, you know what I'm saying? Because like, and that's where too, it's like no one wants these Corvettes.
Sure.
No one wants some ugly ass, it's like only 20-year-olds that are ready for some 38% interest want these Mustangs.
Yeah, those Mustangs like are to be delivered to a used car lot to await a young girl just having had her quinceañera. Okay, they're either for them or 40-year-old divorced dads, and there's no in between.
Exactly, and so because the thing, and like where it's just like. So like Hummer,
No, there is no
wants these things.
Yeah, like except for the Ford F-150, that thing is still world renowned. It's insane, the demand for that goddamn truck.
Well, yeah. So, but that's the thing where like there is no market. That America is really good at, because it's like there's not a lot of coherency in developing full markets. And that's where NAFTA destroyed that. Yes. Where you see these types of like, and like where Detroit, when they say like Detroit as a car was like, was it like the car city? It was like, it was all the little tiny machinist shops and embroidery, but like stitching for the seats and they used to have all the other industry things. So instead of shipping all here, there, whatever, literally the whole town, in one way or another, was contributing to the effort of these cars getting assembled and then shipped out, right?
Yeah,
and that type of manufacturing. It does have to be a little bit planned, It does have to, be built out and understood. This is what we are doing because this is a better way to do things. Yeah. This is what allows.
Man, imagine if we had a state central planning apparatus for all of our car industry. That'd be crazy.
And this gets to the reason why.
Yeah.
And not just like of like, hey, this is what China has become over the past like 20 years, especially like the 90s and them getting folded into the international community.
Yeah.
But is the fact that like with Joe Biden and is they keep saying it openly, right? Whether it's Anthony Blinken, Janet Yellen, they keep saying China is they're breaking the rules
too fast.
Okay, understand?
All right.
They're flooding the market with too many cheap goods.
Yeah.
You okay?
And this kind of rings like almost parallel to the situation that we did see in the 80s with Japan, and when they supercharged their electronics markets post-war, right? Until the point when they were delivering better goods than we were. And then the United States government started talking about microchip acts, and they were like, whoa, this is a little fucking too much coming from them. We need to start restricting trade because they can't be allowed to surpass us,
Yeah.
And this is where you get like the lost decade in Japan, like all these, like you start to see a lot of like market falls because of what we ended up doing in the 80s. Now, I think that China's a lot more resilient than that. They have much better like trade partners. They have much more availability to the market than Japan did in the 80s. And I ultimately think it's a futile effort from the United States to borrow these cars. Because the other part that you're talking about with luxury, the one luxury car that China specifically, another global market overall, does care about is the Tesla, because they like it as a luxury electric vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's what... like this is part of this is Elon Musk like having his cake and eating it too, because like he wants these tariffs in place on BYD, but he doesn't want to give up the Chinese market that is currently buying his fucking Tesla because they want something, like they want to have multiple choice for exactly, that's it,
Sometimes and status symbol,
and so he's making out on both ends of this then.
Yeah. The only thing I think that where Musk is completely failing are the things that he designed from scratch himself.
Yeah.
The Cybertruck, right?
I saw most of
a lot of Tesla was like already there, as far as like a lot of like designs, and like he didn't really come in and he bought it. But this is where it's like when it comes to like the Cybertruck, and like when it comes to now of like his because I agree, with like that. But like the thing is though is that as you've seen, right, Tesla's buys are way down.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Way down.
Yeah.
And I think, and so he did one of these announcements about how there's going to be, they're going to be able to do Tesla taxis in 2 years.
Robo taxis, baby.
And then, like these stock market nerds. But like, it's like you can't replace a stock market juice with car sales.
Correct.
Yes. And, there's only so many crypto nerds, and they probably already have a Tesla, and like only so many of them can buy another. So,
and who do you think, like, my biggest question about this is you need one or two situations to happen, right? Either who's going to buy up your robo taxis, and it's not going to be fucking Uber or Lyft or any of these guys. They're not going to spend the extra money on that. What are you talking about? Or you've got to get the United States to subsidize this almost like a public like service, and like they're giving you money already. So what's the who's going to be buying up these robo taxis unless Tesla is going to start its own like Uber but with robo taxis? Like who's the market
which was
for that?
Uber's plan,
right?
To begin with, that was originally Uber.
Yeah, why are they? Tell me what incentivizes them to buy with you when they are already like trying to work into that. Like I don't know.
That's where it's like there's never going to be a AI taxi until like there are sensors put on every fucking road and also in the car, and and talks to other vehicles. Like that's the only way you could do it. Like it's like the idea that you can AI, which we're getting at that later, into a driving scheme. It just won't work. It just won't work.
And that is the other crazy thing about BYD. It's got LiDAR sensors everywhere, man. Just so it leaps ahead of the vehicle technology that we have on the roads. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's where, though, it's like capitalism does not breed innovation. It breeds monopoly.
Yeah.
Like organization that want to innovate off of based off of scientific realities, right? That's how you innovate. You do science. You have goals and you try and reach them. You have attainable goals, right? Because like the United States is really, really dumb.
Yeah.
The idea of the self-driving car is you get off of it. Right, like this is not something that's like a desirable thing, and this is where too, like you heard, like Volvo, was like dedicated to like making sure that nobody ever dies in a Volvo car accident.
Yeah,
and that is a admirable goal for a car manufacturer.
Subaru working towards an idea similar. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Where
they want these realities, but
And these, and that's the thing though, is that like, it's what's that, like Wall-E, where like the humans are just like sitting in the chair, you know what I'm saying? Where like it's like there's like a good amount of Americans like, no, I want to be in the Wall-E thing.
Yeah.
And
where you don't have to drive on a train.
That's true.
We could have more trains.
Yes, highly automated systems, with a good oversight structure. But
crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild. And to wrap this in a bow, again, like, Biden's, idea for the future is no holds barred, anything that they can do possibly to slow down climate change. But unless Tesla's shares might take a hit. This is why. Like, this is I said this yesterday to my community. Like, this is the reason why we can't have actual climate action, because these freaks, the Democrats and the Republicans both, will always be beholden to corporations first. All right, and this is why we'll never have like a large sweeping government action towards like rapid reduction of like carbon emissions or rapid, like none of this will happen because we are beholden to industry.
Yeah.
We will not take the steps to reduce that if there is, if it may hurt our shareholders.
Which is an absolutely insane thing.
Yeah.
To like literally to the detriment of our ability to survive on this planet.
Yeah.
Line must go up.
Yeah.
And yeah. And that's where like the thing is too, where it's like some of this, even, the EV tariff, they're also doing action against Chinese solar panel manufacturers.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Because that's what you were talking about earlier with Janet Yellen talking about flooding the market. Yeah.
Like, what?
Sorry, but solar panels are incredibly cheap.
Shouldn't we be blasting these things on like every fucking wall and roof that we possibly can?
Like, you would think. Start giving Americans like credits and shit to just install them on their home, free of charge. Let's solve this
Cruz thing. Like, hey, this is your wall now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bang. Hey, sorry. Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Because like that's where the thing is too. Is like, hey, what are you doing to my roof? And actually, a cop's like, all right, nothing to see here, sir. Just move along. They're installing some solar panels.
So it's gonna be good for you. Trust us.
Yeah. Nope, gotta happen. There's a law. It's my property. We don't give a sir.
Yeah. Do not resist, sir.
Don't resist the solar panels.
It's wild, man. Well, at least Biden may be as ineffective as any other president within this, unchanging global hegemony, but at least he's doing great in the re-election polls. And I think
it's true.
Something do you imagine if he was still underwater, in polling? That'd be crazy. That'd be wild.
Yeah. And so like literally every swing state.
Man. And I like people like Aaron Rupar that are just like, well, there's technically a little less than 6 months to go, so we still got time. And it's like, hey, man, Hillary was plus 14 at this point. Biden's minus like fucking 4 average.
Well, and
what are you talking about?
Like, see, this is the thing where it's like, I agree with the point.
Yeah.
Kind of where like,
sure.
Hey, a poll is only telling you what the plan or what the idea is right now.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. I don't disagree with that. But here's my question about this. What does Biden do to shore up those numbers?
Well, that's the thing is you have to have an entity willing to want to listen to the polls and react
and you
to
don't
them,
like
right?
literally
they do not believe them.
Yes, they are literally denying them and
Yeah.
saying that's not what the polls, which is
fake news. It's
the crazy strategy that a former president used as well, I guess. I don't know, and he ended up winning in 2020. So
I can't just say whatever, man.
It's wild to just be like to go against all. You don't even want to try nothing. No. Okay. All right. Well,
those are fake news polls, actually.
My favorite one. Okay. So my favorite anecdote from the Siena poll is one guy, some 52-year-old union fucking contractor, right? That said that he was going to split his vote in Wisconsin. He's going to vote for Baldwin for Senate, and he's going to vote for Trump because he's a no muss, no fuss. He's going to get shit done type of guy. And then the last line can explain to you how ineffective the fucking Biden administration is, because in the last line he says there's a new $3 million project that's being built right now as a result of the IRA package, right? But Biden coming to them and making a speech about how good it is and how he was the reason that this is happening slowed down production, and he's pissed about that. So now he has some like, you're not getting anything right about like what these voters want, man. Like, you don't tell them that everything's doing better. They should measurably be able to, like, their material conditions should be better. Like, the reason that people are saying, I feel like I'm spending more right now. I feel like rent is higher and I'm not making more, is because that's true. That's correct. Like Americans are in a position right now where things are more expensive, and you can only blame it on crony capitalism or whatever the fuck for so long until people tune out and they're like, no, this is your fault. You're the president. You're the guy in charge right now. You're the president. This is your fault. 4 years ago, I was getting $1,000 checks from that Trump guy, you know?
Yep.
And now,
because this is where though it's like, and that's where it's not just Biden. You know, like the Democrats are horrible. They're really, really horrible on the messaging.
Yeah,
because like,
absolutely.
and this is where, especially too, of like where the Republicans. With their media apparatus that like is tied to the conservative movement, they do push the culture, right? They're going to push. This is what you're supposed to care about.
Yes.
Talk about the border. Oh, now we're talking about trans people in sports. Talk about that. Oh, now we're on to DEI. Talk about DEI. Oh, back to the border. There's a caravan border. Yeah. They push the narrative constantly. This is what we care about. Hunter Biden and the laptop, right? And
CNN's just doing, hey, this is why we should be allowed to beat up college kids on campus.
I mean, and that's the thing where the Democrats, and this is where where it comes to the conservatives, their narratives that they're trying to drive actually coincides with what the base wants. Yeah. Right? They're pushing a narrative of racism, bigotry, and hatred, and their base is wanting to feed off of that. Yeah. When it comes to the Democrats, they don't push narratives that people want.
No,
they don't know how, because that's what it's like. Once you excise actual working class politics, you just have nothing. There's really nothing for people to kind of latch onto, because a lot of these projects and stuff like that, you're talking about a few thousand construction jobs, right, over a period of 3 to 4 years as the actual site is being built out. You know what I'm saying? And that, and there's not a lot for right now, because then that's where too of the actual policies that touch people's lives that people appreciated. The child tax credit.
Yeah. I mean, I've said that so many times, man. Like, how do you, I'm sorry, that expired under your watch, and you can complain about all you want. And you can say, well, this is actually Republicans' fault because they didn't do, and Joe Manchin, and, you can say all that, but that still happened.
Yeah. Joe Manchin and Siena were Democrats at the time.
Yep. You can blame whoever you want. Those people don't exist anymore for the American voter, okay? They're not even going to be in office.
It's just you.
Yep.
And that's the thing that Democrats don't realize is these excuses don't fly. At least they don't fly for people, because that's where though it's just, I mean, because where, especially too when it comes to the Republicans, they are lying to their base about the problem and they're lying about the solution. People just believe the border was closed under Trump. They just believe the world was at peace under Trump. It's factually untrue, but those problems never really existed in their lives to begin with.
Yeah.
Not affording childcare and having someone say they're going to help you with it, that's real.
Yeah.
Not rent being too high, like all of these things that the Democrats talk about and promise on, these are things people feel. Yeah. When it comes to the conservatives, it's all kabuki theater. They're dealing with smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
So if something is there or not there, it was illusion in the first place.
Correct. I think some more news talked about this last week. It's very easy to just have
Cody must have grabbed my script for this episode. I write early.
Viktor Orban doesn't run against anybody any longer and hasn't for years. He just runs against the idea, the looming specter of communism and George Soros, and that's enough. The Republicans aren't running against actual policy. They're running against the trans people and Democrats taking away the things that you want, they're running against a looming specter that doesn't really exist.
Yeah. So when it gets defeated, they can cheer.
Yes.
And Trump doesn't have to do anything.
Right. I mean, that's exactly it. And the Democrats do have to do things. They do have to like actually like provide for their voter base to turn them out.
You know what? Stop promising shit. Then.
Yeah,
you know what
I mean,
like, that's what they do.
that's
Is
it.
like, stop.
That's
saying
why you
you're gonna
goddamn
do
lost
things.
is because you promised hope and change, and that shit didn't happen. And then Hillary Clinton, and you put forth an incredibly unlikable candidate. You know, like.
Well, and this is where with the polls, because let's stop politics, because and this is where
I
like
call it politics.
people, people getting mad at Bernie for saying like, oh, this could be Joe Biden's Vietnam, and I think what he's alluding to is something that's been talked about is. The DNC, stepping down, losing,
Yeah.
And I mean, and like, this is the thing where the Rupars or, the Will Stancils, right, that just keep saying stuff. It is you people who are criticizing Joe Biden.
Yes.
Who are at
Those
fault.
are the people that are failing. Yes.
And it's just not, and like, this is where it's like, I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's not fair to the people, right?
Yeah.
In like, even if they are Americans, it's not fair to Americans to do that, right?
Yes.
Like the issues, the policies, at some point they have to matter.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
At some point, right? Like they have to matter. And like, at what point? And because I'm just because like I've been upset with the. Oh well, we're just gonna talk about this. Yeah. We're just gonna have a message about that. And you kneel in kente cloth. You thank Pelosi thanks George Floyd for his sacrifice. And that law is not a law.
Yeah.
The Voting Rights Act, John Lewis, he's dead.
You're paying lip service to these things.
He's
and that's
dead, and you couldn't get it passed.
And the most maddening thing, again, like because I know the game here at this point. I know that Joe Biden thinks that, and he's right. Like most Americans don't have a memory for politics, right? So when he says, if you give me the senators, then we will make this thing happen. When is the last, I want you to answer this for me, Joseph Biden. When is the last time we had a supermajority of Democratic senators that was able to actively push through viable Democratic legislation? All right?
Well, able.
Yeah.
Under Obama. Wait,
but they didn't even, because they still had Joe Lieberman. Like even then, like you always have a Joe Manchin.
They were able.
They were able to do it. But that is, again, that's over 12 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And then, so let's look into the future then. There is nothing on the electoral map short of you fucking going in and just like black bagging tens of thousands of Republican voters in multiple fucking states. There's nothing that is going to present you with a 60 vote majority. Even with independents in the next 4 years. So who is we? Who is give me this thing?
I gotta say though, you've lost some time old tradition of American history. You don't go after the voters. You black bag the candidates.
Yeah. That's also
true. It's hard to vote for someone
if they don't exist.
who's got their balls attached to a car battery.
I'm sorry. You take Baby Dog out. Jim Justice has to disappear.
Yeah.
But in your own West Virginia Democratic candidate.
Yeah. Sorry about that. And that's it. Like, and honestly too, where if Dark Brandon existed to actually use like, because that's the thing too, is that it's like, oh, so the president is immune, right?
Yeah.
Joe, like, do the thing. You don't care about life, Brandon. You don't care about life.
Yeah.
You don't care. So do you SEAL Team 6?
Yeah.
Why is Tommy Tuberville still around? Are you talking about Boeing? Boeing?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Boeing?
Boeing's allowed to fucking get 2-0 and you're not able to. Come on. They got Agent 47 out there in the trenches. You can't. Come on. I know you got something.
and I mean, this is the thing where, because it's the hypocrisy of what should matter to, you know, the quote unquote left Democratic Party, you know, and what they actually do, what they actually accomplish, you know, and it is just a complete shit show. You know, and that's where too of like they're bad at it's on the Democrats. Yeah. If you know, this is where too is like, if we could pretend that there's not a genocide going on, and all the politics stayed as they were going, Joe Biden would still be kind of having to fight to make sure he wins this election, which is insane.
I mean, that's just it, and that's what I kind of said multiple times. Like, I trust voters less on voting on foreign policy, right? Like, that's not going to be a non-zero number of people that are distasteful about like the ongoing genocide, right? Because Americans are heartless at the end of the day. But I do know that people fucking like their treats, and when they can have less treats, like I said, like when that gets interfered with, like you've got hell to pay. I remember George Bush Sr. What is the one thing that he said, you know, when he ran his first campaign? No new taxes. And he did. And those people did not let him fucking forget it come election day. They said, oh, go fuck yourself. Yeah. Sorry. He came off of a incredibly, some would say, the most successful election and re-election campaign since FDR. He came off of the back of Ronald Reagan and was still unable to capitalize because he did this one weird trick. He fucked with voters' money. Yeah. And so you're telling me I should be more hopeful about somebody that came out of the Biden administration? Biden coming out of the Obama administration? Like, he's going to just ride the waves of that into a re-election? Because of nostalgia? Because voters like remember the good times? Because they don't want Trump to what? What was Trump able to do? Again, in the voters' minds, ultimately Trump was defeated. Not by Biden, but by the rule of law. They don't care about J6 anymore, man. They're not thinking this is an existential threat. It got sorted. It's handled. It didn't actually happen because it didn't. Yeah. And nobody was prosecuted out of it. So I guess nobody in the government was really to blame. So you can't pin it on any Republicans. So I have a hard time believing you're going to pin this on Trump once it comes to election day. Most of them made up their mind that, I don't know, well.
Because it's just, it is, and honestly too, where like the reporting on like the administration and a lot of the DNC insiders are saying like, oh, these polls are bullshit. They'll come around, you know, and this whole like, cause like the Trump fear mongering, cause, and this is a thing where it's just, you gotta do something. You can't just keep slapping people in the face and tell them, you know, like the enemy's over there, slap. The enemy's over there, slap. Like the enemy might be over there, but people don't like being slapped in the face. Yeah, and that's kind, you know, that's what's going on over and over again. You know, the red's too high, slap. Oh, Trump, right? Yeah. Can't, like, what's going on with, can we not have any public option? Slap, right? Remember, like, because they talked about public option again. Yeah. For this campaign, Trump's over there. Maybe stop the genocide. Slap. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, because like it's you can't keep doing this with the policy areas that people give a shit about,
and not even Biden, but all the acolytes as well, all the people that are on CNN and MSNBC. I think Malcolm Nance, like, you know, yesterday or the day before, fucking some lady is like, "Hey, listen, I went to go give birth in the hospital. Day after I was kicked out, they said I owed $5,000. What are we doing in this country? he's like, my wife, when she had cancer, got 99% covered. This is better than other countries. And it's like, bro, that's not an answer to somebody.
Yeah.
Also, 99% of cancer charges could still potentially be a lot of money. Why aren't you giving me that number? If you guys, how much you guys still end up paying? Because that could be upwards of $1 million, actually.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, like, what are you caping for? You're caping for some of the worst costs in the world for medical care. I don't care how cutting edge it is. I don't care how good it may be comparative to other countries. If I spend the rest of my life in indentured servitude for my medical bills, then it doesn't matter if you saved my life. And you're sitting around just caping for Biden on that? Why can he not do the bare minimum as a Democratic president and start presenting a public option? You want to ease people's pain, you know?
Like, because that's the thing that they don't understand is that, like, this, like, and like going back to it's like the rhetorical tricks of getting people upset and then pretending that you solve their problems, you know, like that only works for like hateful dipshits.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to target your constituency, you know, in caring about like the working class and all that type of stuff, then you need to actually address the working class issues. Like if you're not dealing in bigotry, you can't just go Trump bad.
Yeah.
Right? You know, that's not gonna work in the same way, because Trump bad doesn't pay the rent.
Trump
doesn't
been bad.
Watch.
You need
Trump
to interrogate why people
kids.
still want to vote for Trump, even though Trump bad.
And people gotta, and that's where the thing is too, is that where, especially going from Trump to Biden, and now in this, you know, reset, and especially to where like the American electorate of, you know, basically riding the line where the majority of the you know electorate does not vote.
Yes.
Right. Even in like the presidential, this is our big time election, right? That like we came from like the most percentage, and it was at like 55% somewhere, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think it got as high as like 61% at one point.
Oh, okay.
Like
all right.
That.
Yeah. Well,
61, 62, I think.
So
but
that's what,
That's
so,
it. That's the best we can do.
But if you've got Trump, then Biden, and then it's just Trump and Biden again, basically you're like, to those people who are like, oh yeah, we got to get out because it's so crazy, they're going to look back and say, I don't actually know the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
for the people that you're kind of able to galvanize and say, oh, well, and especially too for like, oh, you know, like where it's like, maybe I'm not so sure of the difference. And and it's where for Biden, being Genocide Joe definitely doesn't help.
No,
because now you've got a lot of the young people who are describing you accurately as supporting a genocide.
Yeah.
And well, when you pair that up with, you know, all of the bad things that Trump did do, as bad as Trump would be on the same issue, Trump doesn't have the opportunity to be bad on this issue today.
Yeah.
And that's where it really, you know, matters. And,
yes, 100%.
And that's the thing is that
you can tell me that Trump would be worse on X, Y, or Z, but there's nothing for that. Like in the voter's mind, that's inconsequential. That doesn't exist. You know, that's not happening right now. They're experiencing the reality of the moment. And the reality of the moment is, again, groceries are higher. You know, housing is extremely unaffordable. Rent is not keeping parity with increase in wages. Like, I'm sorry, but
like the thing is, because they keep talking, like they try and put, oh well, the fact that we're supporting genocide, not that many voters care about that. Right?
Yeah,
they believe that polling data.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, 100%. Like that's not important. Yes,
yeah, but like you don't see the rest of the polling data that people, for one, are not getting help on the things that they need that the Biden administration had promised. Two, they even if they are, not many of them are associating with that. As we're talking to, with like God damn it, what's that labor law non-compete agreement.
Yeah.
Right? Are workers that are now going to be able to actually find another job a little bit easier without their former employer over their back? Do they know? Do they have any association?
Like that still has some time before it even goes into effect. Like, but will they be aware? Yeah.
Will they recognize it at all, you know, or anything like that? I mean, you do have some support, you know, jumping on the picket line and all these things like that. But no, at the end of the day, people can't pay rent. The grocery prices are still out the ass. And this is what sucks too, is that like in the summertime, gas prices go up.
Yeah.
And it's
not gonna seem better for you.
Object permanence is not one of our strong suits.
Yeah.
So like all of these things, you know, like it is just like y'all don't get it. It's like just material conditions for Americans. Plus, you are doing a genocide.
Yes.
You're calling in the police to stomp in some like the actual
students and old ladies'
base.
heads. Yeah.
Like it's just it is. Oh my God.
Yeah, and these are the same people that would be canvassing. You're not wrong. That would be canvassing for him over the summer and over the fall. Like, these are the people with the time, you know. And I think one more thing to think about that Siena poll specifically. One of the very last things that I really noticed and took in, overall, I think over 50% of people said that when they asked them, you know, do there need to be changes? Is everything good right now? A lot of this came obviously from the Republican Party, where 75% said that there needed to be major change up to complete system upheaval, right? And that makes sense. That tracks the Republicans. But even 25%, a quarter of your base, said in this poll that they believe major changes need to occur within the current system of government. That's extremely concerning if I'm Joe Biden, right? Like, that's not great. That's not, I'm reading those tea leaves and thinking to myself, that does not seem like a great sentiment to me.
Well, that's why they just have to say, we don't believe the polls.
Yeah, I mean, that's because that's what you have to do. You have to pretend like these aren't real, because otherwise, man, there's some big revelations that you are just not equipped to deal with occurring right now.
And that's where it's just the Democrats are in an untenable situation.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You know, like if I can, like coming away from the actual like depravity of like what's happening to real people.
Yeah.
And just talking about like the politics of this, the Democratic Party has put themselves not in the corner, but like, you know, like the chokey from Matilda.
Yeah.
Like they have literally locked themselves into the chokey.
Yeah.
And
you can't. They're moving the DNC to Zoom, man. I don't.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like a confident party to me.
Yeah, dude, like it's so crazy. It's
that
like
doesn't seem like a very confident party to me.
Yeah. So because I don't know what. It's crazy. I don't know. You're right. Like it's hard to find different ways to say they're really, really messing it up.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's man, it's a lot to think on. Which one of these topics do you want? Which one you got?
Okay.
I think we got time for one. Which one do you want to?
Well, I guess let's talk about AI, but I think like it's like we're with what's happening in Rafah.
Yes,
is I guess really ties into what we were just talking about.
Oh, absolutely,
because it is.
We still have the Biden administration saying, "Oh, we're red lines aren't made to be broken." I guess they're taking great pains to be a moral army or whatever. Yeah.
And I mean, that's where too of like, as when it comes to Israel, where the Democratic Party, the Biden administration, and the Democratic Party as a whole is completely ostracizing itself from the majority of like its base within the country. Joe Biden administration is also doing the same thing for the United States as a whole, in regards to its completely unwilling support for Israel.
Yeah.
And it's just mealy mouth. Because like this whole, we're holding weapons. You're only holding weapons after you did the original, you passed
They've
the
already
bill,
got enough. Like, what are you?
Right, exactly.
Who cares?
Refunding,
Who cares if you're
then the
holding the extra
supplemental,
ones? Yeah.
right? Then you talked about pausing one shipment. Like this is not, people see right through the administration. Most countries, they see through it. And so hopefully AI can save us, because
that's true. Hey, listen, I heard it translate language, and that's something that really, until now, I guess has been available on Google Translate for years. But still, I mean, it's Marcus, you should have seen. I watched the GPT-4o videos today, and I was blown away. There are two people playing rock, paper, scissors, and the AI, it was able to determine who won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now that's incredible technology right there. Wow.
Yeah.
It can use the camera and then just interpret things.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When is because this might be hard.
Yeah.
But think in your head the first time you called some type of number.
Yeah.
And it puts you into a system. And instead of hitting a number to indicate this selection, you were able to say what you wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy. Like, that was a leap. I think about it like this, right? Like, I think about it with consoles. Like, consoles, there were leaps, right? That original Nintendo to the Super Nintendo, and you played Super Street Fighter 2, and you're like, holy fucking shit, I never see this on the NES.
I felt like I got punched in the face.
Right, and then another leap, and you play Mario 64, and you're like, motherfucker, everything's 3D now,
Yeah.
And again, until now, where it's just like, it's a little better. Looks a little cooler. And that's how I feel about like a lot of technology these days. And specifically, I think just in the realms of like, planned obsolescence, where we just get a little better and little better and little better for like a lot of technology, so that we can continue to, pull out the product life cycle,
Yeah.
And so I think about that with regards to something like a ChatGPT, for how much potential of growth it might have in the future, but also the way that it's grown so far. Because right now, ChatGPT is obviously a language learning model, right? So they feed it a ton of information in hopes that eventually it will be able to do like X and Y. But the X and Y that it's able to do right now is on par with things that have been on the internet for 5, 10, 15 years, And it's like, wow, it can translate language. Would be cool, I guess, in certain situations. But again, like, I think Google's earbuds already like have that functionality, right? And also, you just have Google Translate. Like, a lot of these things already kind of exist. It's just maybe making them a little more accessible, and I can't argue with that. I guess, it did have. I will say the one thing that I was like, this might be good for like blind people, is there's a guy and he's like standing on the street, and it's like, there's a taxi coming, hail the taxi, and having him get in. It's like, that might be all right, but also like, what happens if this thing messes up? It's like, there's a taxi coming, and it's a bus, and it's a boom.
Yeah, because that's where those where for one, like where any type of like disability technology, like that, like there's like a lot of like new tech stuff that'll come up, and people are like, this is gonna be great for X, Y, Z people, and like they don't talk to any of those people when coming into design, and don't even say like, do you even want a new thing? You know what I'm saying? So like,
well, that was the pitch behind Neuralink. They're like, this is gonna be great, and it's like, hey man, I don't know.
It's still a role before we just microchipping disabled people. And that's where because and that's the thing where it needs to be like, it needed to be inverted. We have made it to a space where we have where the jump is understood as far as microchips and supercomputing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That leap has been understood, and there's a whole lot of ways different communities could utilize. And like when I say different communities, it comes from whether, it does come from a disabilities, it does come from, of certain age, brackets as far as like learning and educational purposes, from economic and labor sectors of what type of ways that different, but that would be a bottom up thing, in which case the new technology is made available to everyone, and then everyone is able to see how this new technology will benefit them if it can, and then start incorporating that, but everything, and this is where, capitalism does not actually breed innovation, right? Where it's like you've got these top-down things where a bunch of rich people keep coming up with these new ideas that they say are going to be valuable, and when it comes to the dot-com bubble,
that's just
or NFTs or Bitcoin,
I see a lot of tech bros trying to latch onto this technology. And again, I have a lot of like folks that work in tech in my community. Just said I work with AI in some form or fashion. This is not that. Or I work with language learning models in some capacity, but I don't know like how far this goes. Like I just, or even some that are like, I see some possibility in this. But like, what is the possibility? And is it going to enrich humanity? Is it going to be a thing that is solely to extend more value for shareholders? Or is it going to be something that makes us takes us towards the Star Trek future that we, dream of, like takes us towards some sort of interstellar harmony, etc.
Yeah.
Like what is this going to be? And for the most that I've seen of it right now is just a lot of, hey, isn't this cool? Money, please.
Well, and this is like for me where honestly, like, these questions of will this new tech thing, help or change humanity, and like they just get sold over and over again. And my question is, first, like before I even want to try and answer, will your new tech thing cure our ills? Like, have we established clean water for everyone? Have we made sure everybody's got housing? Because these are solvable problems now without whatever this is my same thing you have.
This is my same point with stuff like discussing Mars, etc. It's like we're working on rocket technology right now. Isn't that exciting? It's like,
no,
brother, healthcare. I don't know how to tell you this, but the average healthcare cost for an American to live like past the age of 80 numbers well in the millions of dollars for healthcare alone. Like I just don't.
Yeah. And
I don't know what to tell you.
Arbitrarily, right? Because arbitrarily is in the millions of dollars just so people can get rich.
Yes,
this is a fake number that someone came up with.
We are just like you said
Kaiser
today, we are
Permanente,
sacks
right?
of meat just trying to inhabit this space for a limited amount of time, and people are trying to take that from you because they need made up fake little paper to go from one computer to the next. So they can sit atop for no discernible reason.
Like,
because it doesn't even matter how much more they're getting rich.
Like you want me to buy in on humanity saving tech.
Yeah.
Make a humanity recognizing tech, right?
Yeah.
Make something that you can zap someone and they could stop being bigots and recognize people need you, right? Do that, all right? Can you do that? Just neuralizer, except like, my bigotry is gone.
Yeah,
and
we've only got the reverse one. They hit Fetterman with it like a year ago or something.
Oh my God, you don't have a home? What the hell?
Yeah.
This person doesn't have a home.
Yeah.
Come on, right? Like, come on, guys. Right? Can you imagine like it's like some chud and all of a sudden like that child looks hungry.
Yeah.
Let's get him right. Like,
I'd find Jesse Waters so fast, just sneak up on him.
Right?
Oh my God.
I could sell so many items and help so many people. Facebook Marketplace, I'm coming.
Yeah, like, I mean, no, you're not wrong. Like, again, how does this serve humanity? What does this provide beyond like more infinite shareholder value within like the realm of tech? Like,
And
Why?
the thing is, one of the, I'd say, like the thing personally that's frustrating is the people who keep trying to convince me that there's something substantial behind AI.
Yeah.
Because for me, I really can't see it past a better, like a more advanced Google search.
Sure.
Right, where it's like these things there's just a greater amount of information that is able to be searched and spit out with so it's like a higher degree of computing power matched with a bigger data set, and it still needs this constant human curation to make sure it doesn't spit out completely horrible shit.
Yeah.
And so if there's something outside of that I'm missing, like, please let me know. But like, I this is where it's like, yeah, I kind of get frustrated because like, it seems apparent to me, like, when they started out rolling out Bitcoin, and they're going to say, well, hey, it's going to be this alternate to currency. Well, it's like, well, can you like?
I don't want more.
Because this was like, well, if you can't pay your tax, because the number one question, can I pay my taxes in it?
Yeah.
Because if you say no, you don't understand currency.
Yeah.
And you're trying to trick somebody, and so like, I think a lot of the ways Americans, humans, we are susceptible to getting scammed with new technologies, and new innovations.
Speak of the
snake
crypto
oil
thing.
salesmen. Like we haven't been alive for snake oil salesmen.
Yeah, man, we missed out on a really great era, Like that was when, like, you didn't have to be like a fraud behind like an account or something online. You had to be out in the square every day, 6 to 8 hours a day, just looking at housewives like, hey there, darling, got a hump on your back. I think I can fix that for you right now. Like you had to really charm people into that shit,
Always be closing, baby. Always be closing.
I developed the miracle elixir, like you don't have that anymore. Like it's so easy to be a grifter now, but like back in the day,
God.
man,
that was art. Somebody,
I had some respect for that. But yeah, I mean, like even like leftists get swindled into this. I remember like years ago, like there was there's some like coin or some sort of system, and they're like, well, it's in Africa, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to be using it to put down kids like school histories and everything, and help build a catalog. And I'm like, how does that enrich people's like human experience?
What are you talking? Yeah,
what is that for?
About?
And you're investing in this? This is just like, so this is, at the end of the day, this is an investment to you. You are looking to make money off of whatever this service is.
Like there's probably 30 organizations that you can, what do you like, buy kids books? Is that what you're trying to do? Buy the books?
Yeah. No.
I'm pretty sure we could do that.
They want it so that their school history is transferable. Just nonsense shit. It's like, no, somebody is selling you a bill of goods and saying this is going to be good for the poor children. This is this is since time immemorial just fucking garbage charity type organizations that are just like, oh, we're gonna help them, promise, all right, we're gonna make things better for them, and provide the most threadbare trash service that you can. Like, oh, they need these things on the blockchain. Why? The hell why? For what reason?
Yeah, it is really wild. And the fact that it's still like ongoing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where like it's like we are a faulty animal, like you're like, God damn it, like, please get it. It's a scam. It's a scam. And that, because people want to believe, people want to believe that they're this isn't a lottery ticket. You don't understand. I'm not buying a lottery ticket. No, you just don't understand. And like, it's worse than a lottery ticket. You know what I'm saying? Like
it is built off of winning, other people that are going, like, the money that you get in return is other people that have been like swindled at some point.
And that's where too, it's like a lot of the people that get scammed are, you're like middle class as a, describe or up, like working people that have disposable income,
yes,
and well, they don't anymore. And there's a lot of people who literally just knew that they like, hey, like, what are they, like the pump and dump?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if people, this is, snake oil salesmen, these are new scams that new tech allows people to get scammed in new ways. There was a Nigerian prince that called one day that no one ever heard about, and like, that's it, right? Like, it's like these things, and that's the thing it takes is like, it's not that AI isn't dangerous. Yes. It's just that scams are actually very easily defended against. Yeah. With a little bit of education. Once you tell someone about the scam, then they can see it. And they are then largely protected from the scam. See, the thing with a lot of these crypto people that is not great is that they don't know that they've been scammed. They just think they were down on their luck, or they just hit the wrong crypto coin or whatever the hell. And they just got to choose the right one that, this helped Congolese children start up a STEM resource center, but what my coin, what the new one really needs to help the kids in Thailand develop the vaccine against peanut allergy. I don't know, right? Like, but it's like none of these things are real. Yeah. None of these things actually make any sense to like developing a value attached to a currency. And once someone can explain to you, listen, if you can't pay your taxes in it, you're not dealing with a real currency, right? Once they get that, then, the veil is then lifted. But the thing
except
is,
for the people that don't believe in that's who these are for. The people that don't believe in tax in the first place.
Well, yeah, right. And that's where too is like, there's
a bit of theft involved.
Exactly. Where like they think like money, like, well, if it goes back to the gold standard, it's not part of the. It's not right. It's not a gold standard. Yeah. It's not after there's some shit you can find in the dirt. Yeah. Why would that make sense to you? Yeah. Why would that make sense to you?
It's amazing.
Right? Because like that's the way too. It's like literally just by fucking luck, some random person out in the middle of nowhere can become the wealthiest person just off of like, oh shit, there's gold. Like, yeah. How does this make sense?
And this was the early 1900s. Amazing.
So it's.
Man. Anyways, I'm very excited. Man, can't wait for AI to develop all the same, like, garbage apps that I used to enjoy on, on my iPhone, like 4, but better, Like, wow.
Honestly,
it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, like, really, like, if there's any good that's going to come from AI, it is basically screwing over corporations with like certain like code development or some shit like that. Sure. It might basically like allow people to just prompt the AI to, giving them, the skeletons to like certain programs or whatever the hell. But I could see, a little bit of like pirating through, and essentially it being legalized. Sure. Through, or I'd say laundered in a way, it'd be laundered through the AI. But that's literally me putting the most value on some of these things that I could. Sure. Where, and I'm not savvy enough. I don't really give a shit enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can't ask AI to, I don't know, make me a beer, like it's not really useful to me.
Hey, listen, I tend to agree until, we get the little robot bartender and then.
Which can it, if it, like, that's where it's like, can it harvest grain? Yeah. Can it brew? Yeah. Can it do all the things? No.
That's the kind of, I'm sorry, that's the kind of AI and robots I want. Like, get them involved in extractive industry, which will still exist and maims, tens of thousands of humans a year, like.
And this is where you need to worry about Skynet. Yeah. When a AI whole like mechanism can decide on a resource that it needs, extract that resource, and utilize it to remanufacture itself, or a greater self, right? Which is like, sound ridiculous because of course it can't.
Yeah.
Of course it can't. We're fine. We have nothing to be scared about other than us. It's the humans.
The people that program it. Yeah.
Nah, we're the problem, man.
Yeah. Well, what's your silver lining? Final thoughts. Great things on the horizon. What do you got, Marcus?
Oh man, great things on the horizon. Actually, I'm looking forward to a visit to DC to go to the African American History Museum.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Sometime this week.
Very nice. Very nice. I like
that may or may not coincide with the President of the United States going there.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, head up. Be careful.
Time-honored tradition of yelling at politicians,
Yeah. So, absolutely.
Yeah. Might do a little protesting, but other than that.
I like that. That.
What about you?
I'm mean. I will continue to just be making my new place look nice before I move into it. Looking forward to all of that. I'm a pervert. I love that type of shit. Like I grew up in a household with my dad being an electrician, like working in HVAC, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just into that shit. It's fun.
No, which I mean, I like we moved around quite a bit, like at least like as a kid, and I kind of don't like it.
Yeah, sure, I get it.
I'm in the opposite. I want to be able to just like put my clothes in a closet, hang up some, some shit, and then that's it. I don't.
That's fair,
right?
That's fair. I would at some point in the future, maybe, once real soon, house prices are going to get attainable, and when they do.
Yeah,
get in there.
I can AI.
Yeah,
can AI help with the prices?
Can AI fix housing prices and interest rates? Because if it can do that, good.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Well, 17 will be back next week for 18. It'll be exciting. Yes. Go like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Do the voodoo that you do, chat.
Tell me how AI is real.
Yeah, tell me about your best AI experience in the comments. Good. We'll be back next week. See y'all later. Bye.
Peace.